welcome back to my opinion. This video, I may have already done this on tariffs, but I'm gonna do it again because people just don't research tariffs. And here's the truth: there's good and there's bad. Tariffs are used by many world leaders, many countries, such as Canada, Germany, and many other countries. Lots of Europeans use it. Japanese, lots of people use tariffs. For example, Canada. Canada tariffs our stuff quite a bit. What that does is that protects Canadian industry from cheaper American stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that Trump is doing is matching tariffs and or even charging more on certain tariffs. We have been paying unfairly quite a bit of money, quite a bit more to other countries, and for some reason they expect us, and lots of the liberals expect us to keep doing that for some reason. That's not good business. Why would we want to do that? We are not the world's savior. We are not the world police. We need to take care of our own. We have a lot of issues here that we have to fix. Everything from homelessness to the cost of living, lots of things, drugs, etc. These liberals and countries that are bitching and moaning about our tariffs on them have been doing the same thing to us for a long time with their tariffs to keep us from selling our stuff in their countries, such as automobiles, for example, in certain countries. And look these things up. It's real easy to look up and find out more information about tariffs. Now, historically, tariffs have been used by a lot of world leaders, a lot of presidents, to help protect American industry. Look up, Google presidents who used tariffs, and you might be in for a little shock. Tariffs, for example, Toyota. Let's take Toyota. Remember when Toyota was in Japan and made all these Japanese cars, sold them to Americans, and Americans ate them up because they were great cars, until there was talk of tariffs. So what did Japan do? The smart thing. They brought their factories over here. Now, what do you think Ford is going to do, who has a lot of factories in Mexico, and even talked about closing some of their factories here in Louisville, Kentucky, to put them in Mexico? What do you think they're going to do with a 25% tariff? They're going to close those Mexican plants because it will be too expensive to bring Ford automobiles back into America to sell. And they'll just keep producing them here. What do you think happened to Detroit? You think they just went under for no reason? Research it. Tariffs are used to protect your country's livelihood, your country's income, your GDP, your economic future. All countries use them. They always will. The Democrats are being disingenuous And these countries that are bitching and moaning, like Canada, are flat out just lying. They're liars. They use them too. If you look up Bill Clinton, his most regretted thing that he did as president, there's a speech, maybe not a speech, but a comment where he was asked once what he regretted the most that he did while he was president, and instead of saying anything about bombing this or bombing that, he said NAFTA. NAFTA was a huge disaster. It was a great idea. We all sell to each other and barter to each other, and we all are on the same playing field, but that's not the way it works. China can produce cheaper stuff. That's all there is to it. So if you don't want China to destroy our production in this country, you have to create tariffs to make a better playing field. Just like Ford moving their factories to Mexico because of cheap labor. You can't blame the companies, the factories, the Ford. It's good business. So it takes politicians to have the balls to step up and say, okay, we're going to put tariffs on those automobiles, though. That way, it's more expensive for you to buy a Ford that's made in Mexico. What Ford will do, because we're the superior market for Ford, obviously, for any car manufacturer in the world, we have the monopoly of buying cars, 300 million plus people. Other countries, even Canada, 30 million. Who do you think they're going to cater to? Who do you think Ford's going to give in to? Toyota did it. They were smart business. But yeah, that's the way it works. Do you want to protect our country in the long haul, or do you want to pay cheaper prices for cheaper products and not protect our future? And what that will do, for example, Ford, it's not going to make the price of cars more expensive. It'll make Ford stay here in the United States. It'll make this company who's already over there, say in Mexico, it'll make them either bring their factories up here, or because of the price of those products, supply and demand will kick in. It's a law in economics, the law of supply and demand. Supply and demand will kick in this country, and someone, a manufacturer, a company, will produce that product at a better price. Supply and demand. If nobody wants avocados, then Mexico can't sell them anyway, even if they are overpriced. But if people want avocados, but an avocado costs $1 from Mexico, and yet an avocado can be made here in the United States because of tariffs, they'd be too expensive in Mexico. Even though they'd be more expensive here, you can make them cheaper because you make the tariffs make them more expensive for Mexico than they are even in the United States. And in the long run, yes, you might pay a little more for avocados than what you do today from cheap labor in Mexico, but you will, in the end, protect your country and your livelihood. Isn't that what we really want? We don't want to be around for a couple hundred years. We want to be around for thousands of years. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and be safe.